السلام عليكم.
Hey guys, welcome back to another session. We're here, Unveiled Mindset, 30-day Ramadan series. We are super excited. So today we're going to go through a couple different surahs as well. Same thing, you guys already know. We're going to go through the surah. We're going to watch a video about it. Perhaps have different discussions depending on what the surah is about. And yeah, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. And hopefully you're having a wonderful Ramadan and you're taking, this time to reflect and to learn and to really get closer to your deen. I for certain am. But yeah, and I think this has been very helpful for me. And throughout the day also, I'm tuning in to other things that I'm listening to. So hopefully this serves as, something entertaining for you guys and something helpful for you guys and food for thought, so to speak.
Ash-Shams, the sun, is chapter 91 in the Quran. This Meccan chapter addresses the topic of purifying the soul and protecting it from falling into transgression and rebellion against Allah. The surah begins with several oaths that highlight the majesty of Allah's creation and how things are intertwined and have purpose beyond themselves. وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا, by the sun and its brightness. وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا, and the moon when it follows and reflects the sun's light, indicating that the moon relies on the sun for light. وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا, and the day as it unveils it, bringing out the sun's glory as it radiates the day with warmth and light. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا, and the night as it conceals the sun, providing calmness. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا, and by the heaven and the one who built it. وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا طَحَاهَا, and the earth and the one who shaped it. Allah then addresses his main creation, the nafs, or the soul, stressing the fact that how we live our lives will ultimately determine whether we succeed or fail in the afterlife. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا, and by the soul and the one who fashioned it. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا, then with the knowledge of right and wrong, inspired it, showing us the essence of how to protect ourselves and how we may fall into rebellion and transgression. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا, successful indeed is the one who purifies their soul. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, and doomed is the one who corrupts it, by drowning it in evil habits, resulting in disappointing failure. In the last part of the surah, Allah shares the example of Prophet Saleh, peace be upon him, and the people of Thamud, who continued to disobey Allah and commit many evils. One day they asked Prophet Saleh, peace be upon him, for a miracle, so Allah sent a miraculous she-camel as a test. كَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودُ بِتَغْوَاهَا, the people of Thamud rejected the message of truth out of arrogance. إِذِ انبَعَثَ أَشْقَاهَا, when the most wicked of them was roused to kill the she-camel. فَقَالَ لَهُمْ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ نَاقَةَ اللَّهِ وَسُقْيَاهَا, but the messenger of Allah warned them, do not disturb God's camel and her turn to drink, instructing his people to let the camel drink from their water freely during specific days, without any disturbance. فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَعْقَرُوهَا فَدَمْدَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِذَنْبِهِمْ فَسَوَّاهَا, still they defied him and slaughtered her, so their Lord crushed them for their crime, leveling all to the ground. وَلَا يَخَافُ عُقْبَاهَا, he has no fear of consequences. Even though it was one person who killed the camel, the rest of the people of Thamud supported this crime and arrogantly rejected the commands of Allah, so they were all punished. The main lesson of this surah is that Allah created an innate sense within our soul of what is good versus what is evil. He also gave us free will to pursue either path. Continuously rebelling against Allah's commands corrupts the soul, ending it in punishment, as we saw with the example of the people of Thamud. However, doing good and avoiding bad deeds takes a great deal of effort, which Allah loves to see. So we must continue striving to please Him. And with His grace, Allah has promised to reward those sincere efforts. Help us create more videos by visiting our website.
Is the good and evil, and also early on we talked about the purification of men. But the story of the Talmud also is something that was highlighted on the fact that they didn't take the prophets. Is it Saleh or Salah? I'm not if I'm butchering or whatever. Told them not to touch the camel, and they didn't listen. They went against that and slaughtered the camel. And then God punished the whole city for it, even though not everybody was involved, but only a few people that was involved.
And they supported it.
Yeah. So just going against that. Also, the part where they say that good and bad is innate. You're born knowing that, right from wrong. But also there's free will. You have the option to either do good or bad, which kind of goes into the conversation we were having last time. To me, that stood out to me a lot, because I'm like, you don't have to tell me, nobody have to tell me it's wrong to hurt my brother or to hurt somebody you love, right? But you can decide to either do it or don't do it. So that's when the free will comes in and play a part. And to me, that meant a lot. So for me, it's like the good and bad, evil is a good versus evil and stuff like that. And how one can know already right from wrong, and it's up to you to decide whether you want to take the right path or the wrong path, but what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah. I think, no, I agree. What stood out to me too at the end there was the, God has put something inside of all of us, a consciousness to feel like you get you have a feeling, a moral compass, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And, and it said like, the more you do what you're supposed to do and do good and things like that, the more it's good for you, and it's purifying your heart, right? I feel like it's checking your heart posture. The more you ignore and do bad and go against what you know is right, the more corrupt you are. And it's true, because like there are people who, especially if you have a moral compass and like you're almost hiding from yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like you feel unrested when you know that something that you shouldn't have done. It's one thing to feel like, no, I'm glad I did it. You get what I'm saying? And to actually feel in your heart that like there's nothing wrong with it, that right there is like true lost and like, like whatever. But it's another thing too to know that you shouldn't do something and do it anyways, because then your heart is like unrested, I feel like. And and that's very much like that happens all the time. So it's like, check your heart posture. And honestly, I do think that like, because the question is, does everyone have a moral compass? There are some people that sometimes some of the things that they think is okay, you're kind of like, what is wrong with you? Right? And I do think that everyone's born with one. However, what I think is the more and more corrupt you are, the more and more your moral compass like shifts. You kind of like rationalize, like, you become more, oh no, it's fine. Oh no, this is my kind of, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so I do think that like, depending on your direction, the more and more you can like stain yourself and make your moral compass not as moral.
Yeah, I agree.
Can that also relate to, how they say sometimes, not as a form of punishment, but like if you keep doing something that's not towards the religion, that's not part of the deen or whatever, like you start getting a cold heart, or like Allah starts turning you away from the deen type of thing. Do you think that those two relate as far as the moral compass, like you not having remorse when you do something bad, or not feeling anything when you do something bad? Could it be related to Allah like turning you away from the deen, if that's making sense?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. For me, I almost think of like I almost think of, especially with this surah, a warning, more of like a, you and your actions, despite this warning, are causing yourself to get further away from the deen. It almost makes me feel like the way it's happening of you turning away from the deen is also by way of your fault and by way of you not, it's all like a circular reference, like you not doing what
That you're supposed to be
what
doing.
you're supposed to be doing, and the moral compass that God initially gave you. And so you continue to do that, like you're almost creating a monster of yourself. And and I do think that, like, it's interesting because when you read certain, I remember in grad school, we used to read cases, like we had ethics class, and we used to read case studies and stuff about people that have done fraud and things like that. And it's interesting that, like, sometimes, like, it can literally be these people where they're middle management, right? They literally did something because their manager told them to. They were kind of in an awkward position. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, but like the first time, but then little by little, there starts being like a gray line and of what's right, what's wrong. And then all of a sudden they look back and it's like, holy cow, look at all of what I did. They end up going like too far to a place where they never had, when they started that job, they never were the type of people that were going to do something like that, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to see, like, even on regular like things and cases and stuff, like people, it doesn't even have to be like the most crazy thing, but like people, like the more and more you do certain things, the more and more your moral compass can really shift, and you may not even catch yourself.
So I would say, because I'm not trying to lose my train of thought here. So Auntie, your question was that if you're doing horrible things, that God is gonna stray you away from the faith, and the religion. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, because I kind of heard somewhere where, like, sometimes God closes your heart to the deen because it's like over and over you keep doing the same thing and you're not asking.
Yep.
Did somebody just say something?
Mm-hmm. No, we just saying hi to him because he just showed up.
Oh, okay, yeah. So hey, God. Hi. So it creates, like, I don't know the word that they use.
Like blind, like you get blind.
Like harden your heart.
I think
it just blocks you from like the blind. Deen. Like your heart closes.
Okay.
It closes to the deen.
Yeah. So
does that mean?
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. So what I would say, like, is the most logical way I can think about it is like when you let yourself go. So let's say you have a goal. Let's say you've been working out and things like that, and you got yourself in great shape, and then you know that in order to maintain that shape, you got to keep doing what you've been doing. And let's just say you take time off, you take a month off, 2 months, you're just eating horribly and things like that, and then you see yourself starting to gain weight, and you know the path to get yourself back in shape because you know the path. But I gotta twist it. It's after I'm done explaining this, and you let yourself go, and then you just keep doing the same thing. It's gonna be harder and harder for you to get yourself in shape the more and more you keep doing those bad habits, like eating terribly and things like that. It's gonna weigh on your body. It's gonna make it harder for you to get back in shape. It's gonna take longer for you to get back in shape. So it kind of push you further away from you getting in shape. So I look at it that way. If you're if you're doing bad things and stuff like that, it's gonna, like you said, block your heart and kind of put you away from the deen. But my question here would be, which I think that could be true, but what if, because Numsa talk about moral compass, because your moral compass might not be the same as the next person. So what you might think is right, the other person might think is wrong. Not in every case, but what if the person we're talking about, just for example, a guy named John, his moral compass is completely the opposite of what we think is normal, and he's steady doing what he's doing, and he never, in his head, this is the right thing to do, and he never get close to the dean, or like what does Allah do then? Does He show him the way, the righteous way to the dean, or just in life period, or is just he just left alone in the world, just doing what he's doing? Because it's things that people be like, yo, there's nothing wrong with this. This is how we operate, you know. And sometimes opinion get mentioned, and a lot of people will tell you, yo, we were raised this way, and this is right. And we might look at that as like that's not right. And in terms of moral compass, like what do God do in that situation? Like, eventually, are they going to
Wouldn't
be?
this be where the fact of free will come in play, right? Because we're saying that we are all um, born with good moral compass, right? And then we have the free will, right, to do good or bad.
Yeah, it's saying that we all like it's innate, like we all know good from like wrong from right. And my
Mhm.
question is what I'm challenging is like people.
If John thinks what he's doing for sure is the right thing,
Yeah, because like
okay.
because even though that could be true, but I'm asking, is that true for everybody? Is everybody born knowing right from wrong? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
This
think.
video just said everybody was born right from wrong,
No, no,
right, the student?
no, for sure.
It didn't?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
But that's what I'm
Mhm.
challenging, because
Oh,
based on people environment, they might not like. Well, I didn't know this
yeah,
was.
I
Yeah.
understand what you're.
Yeah.
I understand the devil's advocate you're trying to
Yeah.
play.
So
um, go ahead,
yeah.
Musa.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I almost think that, and that kind of goes to my point before of like, I think for the most part, people are born with an innate moral compass of what's right from wrong on like basic things. Now, I guess the degree of complexity differs, right? Like, oh, do I, you know, like, do I pick up every time my sibling call, or do I only pick up when I'm available? Like that's like way complex. But I'm thinking like from this perspective, I'm the way that I'm thinking like in the Surah and stuff, they are mainly focusing on are like moral compass in a sense of like lying, killing, like main kind of almost I'm thinking like 10 commandments type of things. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, give be humble, be compassionate to people. Don't, hurt people, things like that. And so lying, right? If I didn't say that already. So on those things, I do feel like the majority of people are born with a level of moral compass, only because like even a lot of like governing, like the majority, a lot of governing laws, like are aligned with certain moral compasses in the
Yeah.
sense of it's illegal to kill, it's illegal to steal. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
there are certain things like, oh, is it illegal to be not compassionate? Not necessarily, right?
Mhm.
But I do think human nature, unless like someone, the screws are not all the way there. You get what, like there's some people where they're born and they, like psychopaths, they may not realize that their killing is bad. I don't know
Yeah,
the
but
psychology, but I do think most people have it. And then what I was saying before is like the more you live life a certain way, the more it emphasizes it, and it can change your moral compass. Like
Mhm.
if
I believe in that.
if I steal one time, like the first time that I ever steal, in my heart, I probably like, I probably shouldn't do this. When I become a professional stealer, then like at that point,
When
I
it
feel like,
becomes a norm,
yeah, that's what I think.
um,
That's just my opinion.
and maybe that I think I have an answer for you. Maybe the fact the going back and asking for forgiveness
mhm.
would be like what makes, I guess, my moral compass different from John's or the next person, right? So if John feels like this is the norm for him, and he never repents or asks for forgiveness, I think then he will keep going down that line of not
Yeah.
having the dean, or his heart getting blacker or colder or whatever the case might be, and that would become the norm for him, like Muso just said.
Yeah. Um, No, I understand. I just feel like the born knowing from right or wrong to me is just to me. I question it a little bit because I know your environment plays a big influence
Yeah.
where it's like certain things I didn't even know like was like even me understanding not understanding that like struggling for other people. It's just a just little things. Like I don't have the exact things to say it right now, but I just know certain things. It's like my whole life I've been doing it, and did I know it was right from wrong from birth, or was it
But then
just
you didn't know any better though, right? So
that?
then like when you were doing those things you didn't know any better. But when you did find better or knew better, you did it the right way. And I'm sure you probably asked for forgiveness in some ways or
No,
whatever
it doesn't even have
and
to be.
repented,
It
right?
doesn't even have to be. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But it doesn't even have to be something horribly. Because my
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
is,
I know it's
yeah.
not something horrible, but I think once like I think
Mhm.
in our this is what I believe. I think if we don't know
Mhm.
in our deen, I think it's fine. It's when we find out we know
Mhm.
and then we still choose to do it wrong. I
Yeah.
think that's when we get in trouble, in
No,
my
I got you.
opinion.
No, yeah, I get it. Very good.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I think also it's to your point or to kind of like that or like I think the bigger the a good question here is what are we even encompassing in the sense of like moral compass, right? Like is it things that are more complex, meaning like it just depends on personality by personality, like it's there's no right or wrong,
I
like because I do believe there are things in life, there are a lot of things in life where it's not right or wrong, it's what works best for you, you know, like that has to do with personality, that have to do with like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, it's just what works best for you. But there are things that for sure have this is right or wrong, like, you know, and I think those are the stealing, the lying,
Yeah, I
the
think that's the basic things that
killing,
you stated. That those 10 commandments, like you said.
essentially, like
So my question would be, I mean, we can go past it, but if because all of those people, all of those like the baby, like your son being born, your daughter, I feel like their mind is being molded by the moral compass that your parents and your mom, your father uphold in their household, or that's being upheld at that time. So what I'm saying is if like just say there's a person born with no family around or whatever, and they kill somebody, do they know that what they just did is wrong? Like you get what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like
yeah,
it gotta be some type of judgment of, whoa, you don't do that. Like just say you're the first person. Obviously, I'm just hypothetical.
yeah.
It's like, how would you know what's wrong, what's right? Like,
So
does God put that in us while we were born already?
that's what I
It's like,
think.
okay, okay,
That and the example, that's what I think, because in the example that you gave, right? I think there's a sense of that baby who grew up in the middle of nowhere or whatever and like kills. I think unless the person is whatever, I don't know what the scientific, you know, word is, if it's psychopath or if it's serial killer or whatever, how science describes it as these people have no what is it? These people have no like feeling bad or whatever, no compassion, like to them, like the
Remorse.
remorse, exactly, like and even then the state like
yeah,
categorizes them as they have like a chemical imbalance and something is actually wrong. So because of that, it makes me feel like someone who even didn't wasn't raised by anyone, if they're about to commit a murder, there's a sense in something inside of them that like this isn't right.
yeah. So I mean, I think we got in too deep with that one, but yeah, I get it. We can kind of move on to the next surah.
92 in the Quran. This Meccan chapter was revealed after Abu Bakr, Prophet Muhammad's closest companion, paid a hefty price to free a slave named Bilal, who was being tortured by his master, Umayyah. Abu Bakr did so in the sake of Allah and without any hesitation. This surah came down to praise such acts of kindness and those who do so seeking only the pleasure of Allah. It distinguishes between two ways of life and the contrast between them. Allah begins swearing by two examples of His creation that are opposite, yet complement each other in such harmony. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا تَجَلَّى. By the night when it covers, and the day when it shines. وَمَا خَلَقَ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى. And by the one who created male and female. Allah then compares people with very different aims in life. إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ لَشَتَّى. Surely, the ends you strive for are diverse. فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى. As for the one who is charitable, mindful of Allah, وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and firmly believes in the finest reward, فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. We will facilitate for them the way of ease. So give as much as you can, and whatever you can, money, food, advice, even a smile, whatever would help someone else in their time of need. Such acts of kindness would surely please Allah and bring you closer to Him. We must also be mindful of Him in every aspect of life and follow His commands. Being humanitarians alone is not sufficient, and have a firm belief in the ultimate truth, that there is no God except Allah, and that Prophet Muhammad is his final messenger. With such firm belief comes the finest reward of paradise. وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى. And as for the one who is stingy, indifferent to Allah, وَكَذَّبَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and staunchly denies the finest reward, فَسْنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْعُسْرَى. We will facilitate for them the path of hardship. وَمَا يُغْنِي عَنْهُ مَالُهُ إِذَا تَرَدَّى. And their wealth will be of no benefit to them when they tumble into hell. Meaning those who aren't charitable towards others and don't follow Allah's commands will be on the path of hardship that will ultimately lead them to hellfire. إِنَّ عَلَيْنَا لَلْهُدَى. It is certainly upon us alone to show the way to guidance. Meaning guidance only comes from Allah, as He guides those who try to know Him and take a step towards Him. وَإِنَّ لَنَا لَلْآخِرَةَ وَالْأُولَى. And surely to us alone belong this life and the next. فَأَنذَرْتُكُمْ نَارًا تَلَظَّى. And so I have warned you of a raging fire. لَا يَصْلَاهَا إِلَّا الْأَشْقَى. In which none will burn except the most wretched. الَّذِي كَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. Who deny and turn away. Meaning they know the truth, yet they still turn away arrogantly. وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى. But the righteous will be spared from it. الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى. Who donate some of their wealth only to purify themselves. وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. Not in return for someone's favors. إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. But seeking the pleasure of their Lord, the Most High. وَلَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى. They will certainly be pleased. Help us create more videos by visiting our website today and contributing to our mission.
Right. Yeah. Allah was said there.
Yeah.
What do you think of the surah?
One thing that I noticed, the similarities, you see how this is talking about night and day too?
Yeah.
And the previous one was talking about that.
And I like the fact that, like, for this one, because we rearranged the session, right? So I like the fact that we were going in order for this one.
Oh,
because then, because the last one was what, 91, right?
Something like that, 91 or 90.
Yeah. So, it was 91. So, and it's the sun. This one is 92, the night, and then the one before the sun was the city. And you know what's interesting? The one before the city, which we haven't gone through yet, is 89, is the dawn. So
that's beautiful.
Like, I do think that
like that's why I feel like what you're doing is so important, because like just the way that you broke down the order and the explanation of the order, like it just makes you fall in love with the Quran a little bit more, just because like just knowing that it's put in an order where we could understand it if we took the time to understand it and try to learn it is so beautiful. Like, so
Literally.
awesome.
Yeah. And so again, so the dawn, the city, the sun, the night, and then after this one, the next one is called the forenoon brightness. Like, so I don't know, it's just interesting, and I'm glad that we kind of rearranged, to go through. But anyways, yeah, no, I noticed that that sun part and moon part as well. And I think this one is straightforward. It talks about, a lot of charitable, right? Compassionate, be compassionate, give to charity, give to those who are less fortunate. And don't be stingy, right? Have compassion in your heart. When you're able to have compassion in your heart, it helps you on a day to day. When you feel like you're better than people and like, you're stingy and you don't care about people, your actions will end up reflecting it, because your actions will end up destroying this world. So.
And this also referred to, the point that I made earlier about us not knowing and doing wrong, but then when you do know, you still do wrong.
Yep.
This also referred to that. So
Yep.
that's cool. I like this.
Yeah, like it was one of those 4 minute surah again. But this one was kind of stayed on the same path as we went. To me, like a lot of charity, like you said, also being a good person, and also the one thing that the beginning of the surah, Abu Bakr freeing a slave, what is his name, Billah, out of the kindness of his heart, and because he was being treated horribly by his master or the slave owner, out of kindness of his heart, he went out to pay to get him freed. Also, something that stood out to me, and also like you guys mentioned, the sun and the moon, also the day and night, and I feel like the sun and the light, sun and the moon are like a big reflection on us and how we live our life day to day. But yeah, overall, that's what I got from it, and also I just think again when we get into when Ramadan start, I think hopefully we can get Imam in here, because I have some questions that I want to ask too. It's just whenever hellfire get mentioned, it's just a little triggering for me.
It's very vivid.
Yeah, but more, you want to say something? I saw you.
Yeah, I don't like. But I was listening to the surah. Um, it talks about like righteousness between righteousness and evil. How the Abu Bakr freed a slave, but the other, like everybody human, but the other ones, like their heart is like hidden. They want to go. People taking different path.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's saying that your path will determine your future, which is whether heaven or hellfire.
Yep. And also, even if you're, doing all the good things, helping people, helping the poor, and all of that, also to remember that to always have faith, to always follow your faith, and also practice your religion. That's a big part that also mentioned that God is Allah is the only most powerful one out there above all. So you can do all of this stuff, but you also have to remember that you're able to do this because of the Creator. So it also mentioned that too. So, but yeah, overall, it was straightforward. It wasn't too complex. Like what was the other surah? I can't remember the name. Al Balad.
I forget, whichever we were like trying to figure out.
So
It was
that
the
was-
horse and that one was good.
Yeah, the
Did
horse.
y'all figure that out?
Oh yeah.
Because I missed the one.
Nah, it was Adiyat. Remember we were talking about the
The speed of the horse. Was that the one that we
Yeah.
said we had homework?
Mm-hmm.
I forget I forget what the homework was.
To understand why.
To listen to the app and figure it out.
Oh yeah. No, I'm listening right now to Naz and the app. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I did get some information on it. It was just because I think the question was, what was the mission because it was revealed because Prophet was kind of worried about the mission that he sent his people out to, and he didn't get. It was taking forever for them to get back to him, so he was kind of nervous that the mission might have failed. And there was rumors. People were creating rumors that that the mission failed, that they didn't make it or whatever. So to shut the doubters up, God decided to reveal Adiyat to through what's the angel?
Gabriel, yeah.
To Muhammad to let him know
Gabriel.
to calm down. Everything is okay. Everything is handled. So that's when everything is fine. But the question was, what was the mission about? So I looked it up. So it's like they went on a lot of missions. So it doesn't really specifically explicitly explain which the mission, but it was just one of the mission that they've been on multiple missions. It was just one of those missions that they were on, but it doesn't really say that what the mission was about. So I couldn't still figure that part out exactly because they don't mention it. They just said that they were just on another mission, and he was worried, and God sent the message to say it's okay. It's
That's
fine.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's fair.
There's one surah that we said that we wanted to cover again at a later date. It's 97 Al-Qadr, Night of Decree. And this one, there's a particular part of this one that says that the Night of Decree, so Nuit de Destin is how I know we say it in French, is when, so we all know about the prophet's journey, and the Quran being revealed to the prophet in the order that it needs to actually be in, all of that during the month of Ramadan, right? Specifically, it talks about the Night of Decree, and it says, the video had said decree was sent. So on the Night of Decree, the angel, God gives the decrees of what's going to happen for that year to the angel. And then I think it said a whole bunch of angels come on earth and basically bring out what that decree is for the year. So it could be, for example, Sally is going to be born in June. Billy is going to get sick in December. Samantha is going to pass away in October. So whatever is decreed for that year.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because we always say, because when we talk about fate and free will, for fate, we say that it's the day you're born, everything is decreed, right? What's going to happen in your life and things like that. But so the question with this one was kind of if during Ramadan, during the night, this night is when a lot of these things are sent.
You talking about Laylatul Qadr?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I was confused.
Yeah, so it's so if during that period a lot of these things are sent down, then for what's going to happen during the next year, then does that mean is that how free will makes it in that what you do during that year in terms of let's say you do dua, you do all these different good deeds and things like that, what you do during that year can impact what the decree will be that will be sent during that night. It can impact that fate. That was kind of the question of yeah. But we can cover this surah again another time.
When you get it, we'll hopefully get Imam here and somebody's very also whatever. But because it's some things I disagree on that one. But yeah, I get it. So we'll definitely do that when we get there. So yeah, the next surah that we're gonna cover is Surah Ad-Duha, the morning sun, Surah 93.
Ad-Duha, the morning sunlight, is chapter 93 in the Quran. This Meccan chapter came to reassure Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that Allah never abandoned him. After the first few surahs were revealed, Angel Jibreel all of a sudden stopped coming to Prophet Muhammad with new revelation. This went on for quite some time, which left Prophet Muhammad confused and began questioning himself, wondering if he had done something wrong to upset Allah. As time went by, people from Quraysh began mocking him, telling him, Allah has abandoned you. Allah hates you. This was a difficult time for him. He became quite sad and depressed, wondering if what they were saying was true. After a long wait, Jibreel finally returned with new revelation and a message of reassurance from Allah to his beloved Prophet. وَالضُّحَى, by the morning sunlight. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى, and the night when it falls still, referring to the dark period he went through without new revelation, and how the light of new revelation finally arrived. مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى, your Lord, O Prophet, has not abandoned you, nor has he become hateful of you. Meaning, cheer up. Allah loves you and will always be there for you. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى, and the next life is certainly far better for you than this one. وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى, and surely your Lord will give so much to you that you will be pleased, stressing the importance of patience during difficult times, and knowing that what awaits you in the hereafter is far better than what this world has to offer. Allah then reminds Muhammad, peace be upon him, of how he took care of him. أَلَمْ يَجِدَكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى, did he not find you as an orphan and shelter you? وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى, did he not find you unguided, then guide you? وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى, and did he not find you needy, then satisfy your needs? Allah then calls on his Prophet, and us as well, to take action. فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ, so do not oppress the orphan. وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ, nor repulse the one who seeks help. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ, and proclaim the blessings of your Lord, first by acknowledging them and thanking Allah for his blessings, but also by sharing them with others and reiterating how blessed you are. Allah is teaching Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and in turn all of us, that there will be dark times, times when we're feeling down, alone, or helpless, but always have faith in Allah and stay connected to him by reading the Quran and remembering his blessings. And know that Allah will eventually reward us, if not in this world, then certainly in the next. Help us create more videos by visiting our website today.
Okay, let's get into the discussion. How do you feel about the surah, and what do you think?
I like this one. I mean, I like all of them, but it's patience, right? Yeah. Patience is patient. Like, and I like in the beginning, it tells us when it was revealed, kind of the context. You know, the Prophet, peace be upon him, hadn't heard for a long time from God, and so thought like. Started feeling kind of isolated and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then, it's a reassurance to the Prophet, like that, I'm always near, I'm always here, I always love you, and things like that. And so I think that's the same with us. Sometimes when we're going through hardship and when we feel like things aren't looking up or we're by ourselves and things like that, it's kind of like remembering that God is with us, even if like you're not getting a direct communication, right? Like I'm here. Yeah. But here is something that you guys can, it's a reminder. Remember that.
Yeah. Mo, do you want to add something?
Yeah. Like for me, for this surah, it was a time when it was like hard for our Prophet, because like his own people, the Quraysh people, they was mocking him around this time. They actually said that like it was equivalent of like 6 months that Jibril didn't come to him, and they were mocking him, said that, oh, your Lord has like abandoned you, like he's not real. So like I think that was all the distress that was on him. So then that's when this surah came down, so it's like the Quran is like a time, like it's just like a timeline. So anything, something happened, like like you get like if you like deep down to the surahs, you can learn a lot about the book.
Yeah.
Going by surah. But yeah, that's when the surah came down. Just to, and then also it's like Jibril will come and tell him that like I can only come when Allah decrees. I can't just come on my own. So just to reassure that God is always with them, even like the hard and the good times.
No, yeah. I agree. I think yeah, I think this one is specifically like I think almost this is like universal. Everybody can relate to this. And also there's a lot of people that can't relate to this because they don't apply it to their day-to-day life. Meaning is one key word that they David mentioned in the surah is patience. I think patience is so important, right? So like if you have patience, if you're patient, it's good for you. And if you're not, it's bad for you, right? Sometimes you can rush something and then you end up getting yourself into trouble. And but what I would say in times of hardship, when you're going through it, when you're depressed and when you're down, this is something that you can read to reassure you that there's hope. And even mentioning like the morning sun, I always say that I prefer the summer. Again, I always talk about the mood because that's a natural thing for me. It's like when it's bright outside, when you wake up, it's shining, all the like trees and what is it called? The leaves and everything's
Shade.
blossoming and things like that. You just hear the bird chirping. It's just like it just naturally just bring a good feeling, you know. So the sun is vibrant, and the sun is like to me looking at the sun in a beautiful day is a light or a sign of hopeness. I mean, yeah, hope, not hopelessness, but hope. Yeah, to me that's what it is. Be patient, and always have faith, and always be hopeful to new things or better things. So to me, that's what this surah like entails for me overall. So this is one of the surah that I can really relate to because sometimes I rush and it's been time when I've been patient and it's been helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you're not alone.
Yeah. And just because it's not there yet, that don't mean it's not coming. You know. So, but yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, go ahead, Mo.
Now I was saying facts because a lot of time I feel like a lot of time we rush like not necessarily us, but like people rush because of like for example when his people like was mocking him, so that could have been like some sign of he's like okay like please come to me now so I can show these people. You know what I'm saying? It's like don't be on other people's time, just be on like your own time and think will work out better.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. And yeah, that's a fact. And I said this applied to like real life. You seeing people go through this all the time, and I know there's been time where I've been patient, and then I went and got myself in trouble or whatever. Even like eating food, like I be rushing it. That's something I'm working on. You can just eat with eat with patience. Like just be patient. What else? I'm trying to remember. Even sometimes when I talk fast. Even that sometimes I be like, yo, maybe I need to be a little patient and get my point across and things like that. So it's a little things that you can work on in terms of patience. But go ahead, Namsa.
Yeah. And then also while still remembering the other surah that we covered that talked about having a sense of urgency in life and time, right? The one that's about the passing of time. I think it's Al-Asr. So it's definitely like there's both sides.
It's a balance. You got to find a balance.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of life. But yeah. So when we about to get to this next surah, Surah 94. I think it's Surah Inshira, the relief. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but we will get the right pronunciation.
Ashar,
Ashar.
uplifting the
96?
heart, is chapter.
This is 94. Ashar.
Okay, so go ahead.
Hey, this is. Let me see.
I like this guy's explanation.
This is
Yeah.
94.
Yeah, it's 94. Mo said 96.
No,
okay,
I was
okay,
asking a
Yeah,
question.
Mo was asking 96.
Okay, I'm looking at the spelling.
Spelling is different.
You
I
have
really try to
something.
look for it, but it's but the reason why I clicked on it because they say it's Surah 94.
Okay, yeah.
I think they probably spelled it differently.
Okay.
Ashara, if you read it, it say Ishara, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
the spelling is different, but it's
Yeah.
the same. Okay, we'll continue.
94 in the Quran. This Meccan chapter is similar in message to its previous chapter, Ad-Duha. Allah again is reassuring Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, of his continued support for him at a time when he was feeling really down. The burden of this da'wah and mission was starting to weigh heavily on him. So Allah reminds him of how he's uplifted his heart by revealing the Quran to him and choosing him to be his final prophet and messenger. Alam nashrah laka sadrak? Have we not uplifted your heart for you, O Prophet? Wa wada'na anka wizrak? Relieved you of the burden? Alladhi anqada dhahrak? Which weighed so heavily on your back? Wa rafa'na laka dhikrak? And elevated your renown for you. Reminding him of how he elevated him by including him in the Shahada, or declaration of faith with Allah. Whenever we say La ilaha illallah, we also say Muhammad Rasulullah. And this is said repeatedly throughout each day by hundreds of millions of Muslims around the world, especially when we say the tashahhud during our daily prayers. And then comes the promise from Allah. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. So surely with hardship comes ease. Surely with that hardship comes more ease. A message not only for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, but for every Muslim, that when you go through any hardship, know that ease will soon follow. فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ. So once you have fulfilled your duty, strive in devotion. Meaning whenever you have free time, dedicate that time to Allah by remembering Him, by making zikr, reading Quran, or praying additional prayers or nawafil. وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَبْ. Turning to your Lord alone with hope, asking Him to get us through whatever difficulty we are going through and to uplift our heart. Help us create more videos by visiting our website.
So yeah.
This has one of my favorite verses, which is the after with hardship there's ease, and then with after that hardship there's even more ease. But mainly like just with hardship, there's always ease.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, continue. I was just
Yeah, no, that's all I was saying.
Mo, you have anything?
Like I feel like these surah after the when the revelation paused, like couple of these surah that came down were just all kind of the same.
Oh, yeah.
Just reassurance of patience and just having faith in God and saying that,
facts. I kind of got that too. Like a lot of them are like kind of like follow up, or it's like very similar to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Again, if you think about the first one was talking about being patient and all of that. And this one is the opening up the heart and expansion and things like that. Also, I always say that too. It's a quote from Tupac. He said, "To every dark night, there's a bright day," and no matter like whatever you're going through, it could be the worst thing. And I have a question to follow up that, but I always said, I'm like, yo, no matter how hard it get, me personally, like through all the obstacles I faced, like through all the hardship I went through, it was always the light at the end of the tunnel. For me personally, at some point things got better. It never stayed the same all the way. So to me, I can understand that through hardship, there come ease and stuff like that. Or what is it? Through every struggle, they come ease or whatever. So like the significance of this surah is, this is Ishra, right? Yeah. To confer guidance for believer. It is believed to have been revealed in Mecca during the early days of Islam. It is a word of encouragement from Allah to the Prophet Muhammad and his follower. It emphasizes the importance of resilience and faith in Allah. And the theme is, Ishra is to console and encourage believer. It repeats the verse, verily with hardship come ease twice, and applies that each difficulty faces, Allah sends twice the relief or reward. The benefit is reciting the verse could expand spiritual horizon, open heart to spiritual truth, and develop a deeper understanding of faith. So I have a question. Do you want to say something first before I ask the question, or okay? So I just said that every dark night there's a bright day, and for me personally, that all the obstacles I face, I was always the light at the end of the tunnel. So what about people that face hardship from the beginning to the end? What do we say to those people? You get what I'm saying? Like, there's people, and not questioning this. I'm just saying, like, because personally, when you're speaking on your,
you can think about that.
yeah,
That's a
so it's
fact.
like,
I think about that.
people would say, yo, even our parents sometimes would tell us a story about one of our uncle or a guy that lived in the neighborhood. They say, man, that guy struggled from day one since he was born. He grew up that way, and he tried, he worked, but he died like miserably. Like, he died in misery. Like, it was he never lived a good life. So what do we say to those people? Like, what do we say to that?
And I'll be like, yeah, no, I be thinking about that. Sometimes I be thinking, like, what if, like, a person that was born blind till they die, or a person that was born deaf till they die, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a person that was born in sickness till they die, like,
yeah.
How they gonna be judged?
Yeah, honestly, with all of those, like, and obviously, like, I'm not trying to, we all speak from a privileged perspective. The fact that during Ramadan, we're voluntarily choosing to, fast and voluntarily have our computers and can be here and can be having this conversation. So all of this is privilege, right? In comparison to a lot of people in this world. But my my question, or one question is, do we think that for those people, and even like the example you gave more of like the blind or deaf, like, is it true that their entire life they've never had happiness or ease? Like, can we really say that? And obviously from our perspective, it can be like, damn, excuse me. It could be like, oh my goodness, like, this is the worst thing that can happen to me. But from someone else, in their perspective, in their shoes, they can look at something and say, this is at least I'm not that. This is the worst, that would be the worst thing that can happen to me. So I don't know. I'm just saying, in terms of perspective, like, I think yeah.
So to your point, I think Mo mentioned something like a person being born blind or deaf. I think those people, like, I don't think for them it's more of like they're suffering because, like, if you're born poor, you don't think there's not anything wrong with it, right? So if you're born blind and deaf, it's always been the norm for you. You get what I'm saying? I think if let's say you're 20 years in life and then you go blind, I think that would really affect you tremendously where you were born with it. Then it just become part of you. But when it's like something tragically happened in the middle of your life, to me that's where I'll look at it. But to your point, we might look at it like, man, they might be struggling, or maybe they don't feel that way, right? But again, I know personally, I know people that never caught a break in their life.
Yeah, and I would say they don't. Maybe they don't see that way. Like at certain points, like there's highs and lows. Like maybe even with the struggle, there are certain things in their lives that can bring them certain type of bliss of, like, whether it's like a certain type of happiness that they can look forward to. Mm-hmm. So a life. But then again, it depends, right? Like that's all I'm saying is, like, with perspective, like sometimes maybe even though the situation never gets better or changes, mm-hmm. but they still have moments of happiness and certain things that happen despite being like, how sometimes in America people will be like, oh, well, those poor kids in Africa, da, da, da. But like sometimes those poor kids in Africa could be like playing with they're playing with their friends, this and that. Yeah, there's real struggles and stuff, like in terms of like the food and certain things. But sometimes people who are less fortunate have their family, have love, have this, have that, like have other things that like bring them happiness as well.
I agree with that. I don't think it's just being just less fortunate. I think it's what you go through, right? Because you can be less fortunate and have one of those. Because a lot of time when you talk to us, you be like, "Yo, we have a lot of fun when we were back home." We tell you that, but obviously we didn't have that much responsibility either. We were kids.
Yeah.
So, like, what I would say, like, obviously through hardship is it. You know, they later on there come. What is it? What's the saying? With hardship come ease. So that definitely happened. But also, what I would say, what people use as a coping mechanism, does that mean that they're going through ease? So, for example, I know people personally, when they go through stuff, they either want to get themselves intoxicated, or they want to smoke weed, or maybe getting into fights, or whatever the case may be. Like, they find a way to get away from their problem just to come back to it. Would you consider that? To me, I know they're coping with their issue, but I don't think that's ease, right?
Yeah.
Because ease to me would be like things are getting better, and you having peace at some point in time. But some people don't have peace. They just find things to get away from the issue just to come right back to it. And some people live their life like that the whole time.
Yeah. And I would want to see like their whole life from beginning to end, because it could be like 50 year of struggle, 20 year of ease, and that ease can be, more significant in terms of how you feel about, how what you get out of it. Because sometimes struggle is like decades,
Sometimes it's more than decades. I just want to know, like the people that don't get that ease. And I know for sure there's people in the world that don't get that ease, because it's been people done wrote letter and talking about their whole life before taking their own life. And people I know personally that it was from childhood, it wasn't good. And the coping mechanism was going out and things like that. So I know for a fact, and I try to battle this. I ask, like, no, there's got to be some point in time when you were just, and the person reply was, I would put a smile on, just to fit in. I would do things, but I'm really not happy or at ease inside. And says my whole life is, the person actually moved to find peace, and that's where they met their demise. So, again, like, everybody's life is not the same, but I just know there's people in the world that don't get to see that ease.
And do you feel like any part of it also is like from how when we talk about like mental health and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like any part of it also is like when we get into the idea of like depression, right? And depression can be any depth, right? And to the deepest of deep, where like it is like, I imagine it as like a very dark hole of like when you're trying to like climb yourself out or find the ladder, but it's dark and you can't. And like, it's hard for people no one can really, like, it's hard for even someone to help you get out of that, because it's a very, deep state, and it's a very real state. Right.
Yeah.
And like, I think sometimes also, I don't know, like, do you feel like there's also a correlation between it never getting better, and also while it never gotten better, or maybe never had a chance to get better, also because also like, whether it be like depression or something that also kind of, not only internal depression, but then also like external things keep adding on, which keep making you stuck in that depression. Like, it's almost like a cycle and a circle and circle, and just, it's like, Mo,
you want to add something? Because I don't want to just kind of like.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just listening.
Okay. So what I would say is, what you're saying right now is what kind of happened to almost everybody. Not to the extreme part where like we all go through trauma and things like that. I can literally sit here and tell you that I've been depressed before. And I can tell you that it was add-on stuff internally and externally, right? And I think some people probably not depressed, but felt depressed at some point. And
Yeah.
I think like the mental part is also important, right? Sometimes it's like there's, you do your best and they try to help them, but there's like regular folks that don't have that issue, that just are just regular, is having a regular issue that majority of us are probably going through, and we either feel depressed, we feel like giving up, and things like that, whatever the case may be, and it just keep happening. Like the thing that you're saying, it happens on a normal day, on a normal basis, like so. And some people are just find ease, and some people don't. And also the thing I was also mentioned too is your support system matters, and if you really don't have that, then it can be detrimental. So the reason I'm saying that, because when the things you're saying right now is the same thing I was saying. I used to say like, yo, like, what are you doing that for? Like, bro, like, stop, like, come on, bro, like, just get up and stop being depressed. Get up and stop being sad, and this and that.
That's
Like,
not what I'm saying.
no, not, I'm saying that's what I was saying. I used to say
okay,
that.
okay.
I'm like, just get up, stop being sad. You're not listening. I said, get up and stop doing this, stop doing that, right? Because I'm like, yo, if I can do it, that means everybody can do it. That's not true, you know. And what I failed to realize is, I can just get up and call my brother. I can just get up and call my friend. I can call my mom and say this and blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I say something is wrong, they're automatically concerned. That love and that affection already make me want to be more positive and just, let me get myself out of this. Like, there's people in the world that really care about me. So, like, I really have a strong support system. Or on the other side is like, I have nobody to call. Like, nobody's going to understand what I'm going through, because they just don't understand that my support system is not there for me. So it's hard when you look at people's background. That's why I brought up environment and people upbringing and how they've been brought up, and that can affect people. And I believe some people in this world never get to go through hardship and get stuck in there forever, and that's their story. And I don't believe everybody see that ease.
Do you feel like as part of this verse, surah, for example, like remembering God and going more towards finding comfort in, that maybe the last surah, but finding comfort over you're not alone, finding comfort over, like, even though your physical support system does not exist and isn't there, do you feel like one can, and I guess this is the case because there's a lot of people, that's why, like, they'll go to church, like they'll like religion and faith is able to get them out of darkness.
Yeah.
Right. Especially if they have people around them that can expose them to that. Or if somehow they get exposed to it. I do think a lot of people, so never mind, I answered my own question. Like, I do think a lot of people, when they don't have physical support system, religion or even just faith, right, and knowing and with God and all of that, like, does get them out of a lot of things and push them through to break through until they eventually hopefully see that ease.
So not saying that you're saying this, but what I'm understanding, are you maybe alluding that, like, without having a physical support or the external support, but internally, spiritually, with your faith, would help you, face your obstacle and actually overcome it. I understand that part. But what I think where we are kind of going this way, the question is, like, through hardship comes ease, right? What I'm saying, you can have those faith and all of that and go through your hardship. You're not, the faith gonna keep you strong. You're not gonna give up. But that can happen for 50 years. You still got that faith, because that faith gonna keep you going. That's your engine. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you're not seeing ease is what I'm questioning, what I'm asking. It's like, you can have faith and never see ease, and go through your struggle your whole life. Now, if we're talking about the hereafter, you're gonna reap the benefit. It's not another thing. But as far as being here in a physical form, never seeing ease, I know people that actually go through it until the day they met their demise.
Really?
Yes.
Because that would be my question of, are there people who I would think that the faith and either your physical support system or your spiritual support system or both will eventually get you to ease. That's what I thought.
Yeah. No, I don't think it works that way, because, like, I feel like ease is you're saying with your faith, at some point you realize like it's gonna be all right. Is that what you're saying? Like I know it's bad right now, but it's gonna be all right. That's ease. That's what be that would be the person's ease, or is it? I've been working so hard and I haven't been seeing any result, but now I get to see just a little result. Now I'm at ease.
You start seeing
Yeah.
more the
And
yeah.
I feel like
Go,
Go
Mo.
ahead, Mo.
I was saying, I feel like that's why praying and like making dua is essentially for. It's like if you're going through something, or even not, like it's like a dua, okay, you
Yeah.
know, with hardship, may ease come.
But
Yeah, and I'm thinking that last thing that you said of the physical surrounding and the spiritual faith will give them strength and an engine to go continue, right? And to me is the more you continue, like you are bound, it's inevitable for you to reap the benefits of that ease at some point in time. Perhaps
yeah, I
to your
mean,
point, maybe the other aspect of with like ease also comes after, like you're the peace you'll find after
the hereafter.
the hereafter.
Yeah,
right?
no. I understand that.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to say like on earth,
If
dude.
they're
Like, because to me that's really something that you should have seen me try to convince him. You be all right, bro. It's gonna be better. It's just like it got worse, worse, worse. Then it got quiet, but it was just like, and then, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like I'm like, damn, like I wouldn't want that type of life, honestly, bro. So, but yeah, that was tough. That was really tough. What surah was this again? I forgot what. Ishra, right? Ishra. The morning. What is it called? The morning. No, the opening up of the heart.
relief
Or the expansion and things like that. So this is a good surah. It's a couple surahs that this one right here, the Adiyat, what's the small kindness? What surah was that? Small kindness. I can't remember the name of the surah.
Al-Maun.
I think Al-Maun. And the patience. That's what was the name of that surah? Al-Duha? No, that's not Al-Duha, right?
It did talk about patience,
Yeah.
having patience. It was like
Al-Duha,
yeah.
But the small kindness, abundance, and the relief, those three right now are like the ones that I personally, have experienced the most in my life.
Yeah.
Or at least I partook in those action of abundance and small kindness, vice versa on both sides. But yeah, so how do you feel?
I think we can probably.
Yeah, we can wrap it. I think we did a lot today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed those surah. I certainly did. I'm always looking forward to this, and I'm learning a ton. So.
Hold of your iman, don't give in to shaitan. Oh, you who believe, please give thanks to Allah. Allahu Ghafoor, Allahu Rahim, Allahu yuhibbul muhsinin. هو خالقنا ورازقنا وهو على كل شيء قدير. Allah is Ghafoor, Allah is Rahim, Allah is the one who loves the Muhsinin. He is our creator, He is our sustainer, and He is the one who has power over all. Give thanks to Allah.